Hi, this is Jess Reeves with my EDL 856 School Community Relations case study on parental apathy using Standard 7. Our problem identification and analysis. We know there's currently no parent groups in the school, even though there has been some in the past. They no longer exist. The principle is of the stance that parents are better off left alone unless you absolutely have to contact them. And there's generally only supportive of having or creating a parental advisory group. There's very little involvement in the school from the parents, and a very small group of parents showed up for the initial meeting after an announcement was sent home with the students. We need to know, why is the parent involvement so low? This is kind of something that's hard for me to wrap my head around because we have a lot of parent involvement at our school. And we also need to know what happened to the parent groups from the past no longer exist. Is there some bad blood there? Why are they gone? Our problems are a low parent involvement in the school and little school and community communication. It seems as there's almost none. My proposed plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation. To help increase school community relations, I would suggest a bi-weekly, so every other week, or a monthly school newsletter that could be emailed to keep the community and the parents in touch with what's going on at the school. Maybe, it starts out as like a calendar, and then you include like, here, we're going to focus on bullying this month, or maybe there's a monthly focus that you can also include the parents in on, so they can be like, oh, maybe we should focus on that at home too. To help increase parent involvement, I would go ahead with the meeting as planned because you have to start somewhere, and 8 is better than 0. Um, the newsletter is a great way for the community to know about what's going on at the school in a non-threatening way. It's just a, hey, here's what we're doing, here's what we're up to. And it helps extend an arm of communication, and maybe if there was bad blood, it's kind of an olive branch from the community, parents, and the school, to kind of repair that bridge. It seems like it's kind of been burned. Having the meeting as planned shows the parents who did show up that you do care about creating relationships with your community and parents. If you cancel it, they're going to feel disregarded, and that's going to do nothing but harm their vision of the school, and then that's kind of a domino effect of their negative attitude towards the school. Resolve the issues based on promoting the success of all students. What's best for students? Creating more lines of communication between the school and community, especially the parents, can help the students by making sure the parents are in the loop. I don't know how many times I hear from parents that, oh, I didn't realize there was an FFA event this week until I saw our weekly newsletter, or something like that. So I think that's a positive attribute that will help the students. If the students' parents feel like they're disregarded, like if we didn't go ahead with the meeting, then they will have a negative attitude towards the school, which can then be passed to the student, and that's going to create issues between the student and the schools, the student and teacher. It just would not be a beneficial attitude. Because they have had parental groups in the school before, we know they're not a foreign concept to the parents, and I really believe that starting with those 8 who did come to the meeting with what little information was given is the best place to start, because really that announcement was not very informative. It was kind of, to me, if I was a parent, I'd be like, this is really vague. I don't know if is this worth my time? If you show them you want to communicate with them in an effort to give their students a better educational experience, they're more likely to tell their parent friends, and chances are at your next meeting, you're going to have those friends show up as well. So say even if each parent only brought another parent friend, you're automatically doubling your numbers, and your next meeting you have 16, your next meeting you have 32, and your numbers could grow pretty quickly that way. I would also ask the parents that showed up, what's a better way to get news out about the meetings? Because I don't think that sending an announcement home with the students is absolutely the best way, because as we know, kids are kids, and sometimes they'll be like, my parent doesn't need this, or whatever, So maybe you need to create a Facebook message, or maybe you have an all call with like the same kind of thing you do with the snow day. You send out a message that says, hey, we're going to be having a parent meeting, feel free to come. Here's kind of what we want to do. And I think the other thing is it was very vague. And like I said, if I was a parent, I'd be like, is this worth my time away from home? Something I thought, it was odd that there were so few parents involved. Like I said, I come from a school that we have a ton of parent involvement, sometimes too much. And I'm curious as to why the parent groups of the past went away and why the principal is so against them starting those groups. I mean, it lends me to think, there's some bad blood there. Why are those groups totally off the market? Like, what happened that's so bad that we cannot do those again? Um, I felt shocked at such a low parent turnout for the meeting, especially in this day and age when like I said, some parents it's just like they're too involved. We have helicopter and lawnmower parents who are like, my kid's here, I need to be here. Oh my gosh, we're it's like chill, okay? Your kid needs to learn some responsibility. Um, I valued my own supportive parents and communication I have built with them over the years because we both value their students' overall educational experience and not just academics. It really made me value the relationships I do have with parents that I know I could call them up and be like, hey, this is going on. And they'd be like, what? And I mean, they're very like, hey, what's coming up? What should my kid be doing? Do they need to, what kind of contest do you want them to do? Like things like that as an ag teacher that I was just like, wow, I'm really glad that that is not my situation. I would really like to investigate what happened to the past parent groups to make them dissipate and for the principal to be so against them. If nothing else, to make sure that their bad ending didn't hinder our current efforts. Um, I mean, and maybe that's just my curiosity killed the cat, but especially because I want to make sure that something that happened to make them end isn't going to stop this new parent group from being a positive thing. Growing the group of parents is also a problem that will continue to need resolved. I mean, it's okay to start small. You have to start somewhere, but you need to grow in order to create a successful parent group. And like I said, we could easily get the numbers to grow if every parent who came to the initial meeting brought a friend, and at the next meeting, everybody brought a friend. I mean, by your third meeting, you're at 32 parents, and you're triple the size of your first meeting. Reflecting on standard by providing evidence that UC Educational Leader promotes the academic success and personal well-being of every student by promoting community engagement for families and other stakeholders in the school's community. Standard 7, an educational leader promotes the academic success and personal well-being of every student by promoting community engagement for families and other stakeholders of the school's community. So component 1, academic success. As the educational leader, I promote the academic success by working to create communication channels. I think the easier it is to talk between the parents and the school, the less misunderstandings there are, and the better off everybody is. With more communication from administration, there can be more communication from the classroom teachers, so that parents know where their student may need to work or what they need to expand so their student can excel. And then we can really work as a team rather than working on our own for their students' academic success. I also send a message to parents that I'm invested in improvement and willing to spend time on that issue. Student well-being. By sending out the newsletters, we can help promote students' well-being by making sure they're all on the same page, and that's worth a lot, I believe. For example, if sports tryouts are coming up, students can start preparing themselves, and ideally, their parents can start helping them prepare themselves as well, too. When we show even a small group of parents, such as those who showed up, that we care about students and we can act as a group of caring adults to help guide those students, that says a lot. I mean, everybody, we're all working for the same greater good. And then we could simply ask the parents, what would they like to see in the school? We want your input. And maybe we don't sometimes, but I think we do. By creating channels of communication with the parents, we can make sure that we know what's going on in the students' lives to make sure the school is meeting their needs. There's no reason for administration to be cut off, and we could encourage a team attitude in our communications. Maybe this student's dad is a lineman and he has to go to Puerto Rico to redo the power. That takes an effect on a student's well-being. Things like that would be helpful for us to know so we can all work together. Community engagement, component 3. As an educational leader, I promote a feeling of engagement by starting the meetings and going forth with them, even though that number is small that showed up. I would also schedule future meetings and ask for a general consensus on what days and times work best to help boost attendance. By asking for their input, we are giving them a buy-in to our new parent group. You're giving these parents, you're like, oh, well, now I'm invested because they want my input. And, well, I said we should do it on Wednesdays while the kids are at church, so the parents can drop them off at church and come here. Something like that. It gives them a little investment in that new group. I would also ask them for their input on what information other than calendar events that they would like to see in the newsletter, such as a student or classroom spotlight to help get them engaged and invested in the new communication plan. Like I said, maybe we include that, hey, we're going to focus on bullying this month. Hey, this is our vocab list for, the month or whatever is one of the new literacy improvements. So I think things like that would go a long ways in improving parent and community even engagement and communication in the school. That is my case study for EDL 856. Thank you.